Hello, I'm Didier. I will talk you about an open source project called Mercator that is used to make the mapping of the information system. Our information system become bigger and bigger and more complex. And one difficulty you have is to understand your information systems to protect it. You cannot protect what you do not know. And when you have an incident that happens, you have to know who's using this application, where is it installed, who make the support, how many users do you have, is it critical, what kind of information are on these applications, and a lot of other information you absolutely need immediately to handle this, to handle the crisis. So Mercator is a web application that allows to map all your information system. And mapping is a way to represent all these informations, the relations between applications, the relations between your application and your provider, what type of contract you have, where your application is installed, how many users do you have, on which logical server is it installed, on your physical server, on which room, and all these informations. The idea of Mercator is based on a guide mapping the information system from the ANSI that describe how to make a map of your information system in 5 steps. It kick off the project, choose an application, an appropriate model, select the right tools, build the map, and maintain the map over time. And when you start representing an application system, representing the world in an information system, you do what is called an ontology. You represent the real world in a model. And what is important when you start your information, start building your cartography, is to look where you are going to find the information to build your mapping. Starting from what is existing is probably a bad idea, because your actual configuration of your system is not what you were planning to have. And you have to think where to get these informations about your system. You can get it from your original analysis you have made, your functional analysis, your description. You can start writing your information system from the contract you have with your providers. What have you bought, and what is really now in your IT rooms. And you can also start exploring what is on your information system. It's called the epistemology. Then there is something I really face when I am a CISO, is the difference between the capability and the authority. The capability is what your system is able to do, and the authority is what it is allowed to do. For example, when I see a server that has an access it should not have, I go to the firewall team and I ask them, is it normal that this application has this type of access? And they look in the firewall rules and I say, yes, it has a rule, so it is authorized. No, it's not authorized. The server just has the capability of doing it, but it's not for the same reason that it's not because there is a root in the firewall that it is authorized necessarily. Yes, your current configuration is probably not your cartography objective, and you should not start building your cartography based on your actual configurations. That's the basic idea of starting your cartography. So what do we map is to control our information system, is to protect it, to defend it, and to ensure the resilience of our information system. The mapping is divided in 3 views. We have the business view, the application view, and the infrastructure view. On the business side, you have the ecosystem with your entities, your relations, the RGPD. The application view, you have all your application with all the components, database, service information, and an administration part. And in the infrastructure view, you have the logical infrastructure with the virtual machines, the VLAN, the network, and a physical view when you have really the physical server, the equipments, and where they are in the IT rooms. And then this describes the topology of the system. In the center, you have your information system with your relations. So the entities use process or support process, where you have activity, operation, task, and informations. These processes use applications, that use database. You have a link back with information. The applications are on logical servers. On the logical view, when you have subnetworks, network entities, the logical server is in a physical server. It is located in a bay, in a building, on a site where you have all your physical infrastructure. The ANSI introduced the notion of granularity. You can start building the mapping of your information system in 3 levels, where at first level you have the minimum granularity. You have only the initial element. On level 2, you have an intermediate granularity. This is required for essential entities, means 2. On level 3, you have the fine granularity with an exhaustive and detailed mapping incorporating digital security requirements. And then Mercator can compute your maturity level. For example, if there is no information, no person in charge, or no type in an object, if there is no link between other elements, for example, an entity without relationship, a process without operation, an application that doesn't support any process, or a server without applications, the object is not confirmed. In the computation, the number of compliant elements divides the total element. And the percentage represents the effort required to comply. And here you are in example, we are in the green side on maturity level 1. This is the main page of the application where you have your maturity levels, you have a breakdown of all your elements by domain, and you have a global proportional map. On the side, you have all of the data entry, the left side. On the top side, you have the view, the preference, documentation, and the reports. Filling your cartography, your mapping is a manual process. There is a lot of lists to fill and to verify, to check. You can sort this column, export them, copy them, view or delete columns. There is a lot of forms via RTF editor, drop-down links. You can define the link between the other objects, security requirements. There is a fine-grained role management when you can allow part of your people that are managing the cartography to have access to certain objects of other objects and not to other objects. And there is a log change. So whenever somebody make a change, it's logged in the system. Mercator draw the object. You can view your object in a hierarchical view. Here you have a process, your macro process, activities, and operations. Here for the bin, you have a site with the rooms, the bay, with all your equipment. You can also explore your cartography in a more organic view. You take an object, you double-click on the object, and you can pop up all other objects linked with this one. And you can select the type of link you want to explore. If, for example, you have explored the physical link between objects, here we have tried to explore the flow between database, application, and services. You can also do network infrastructure. It is an automated process. You can select a site with a building, and automatically Mercator will draw this kind of infrastructure scheme. And recently, we have also introduced a kind of drawing element when you can take objects from your cartography, put them on a drawing board, and if you double-click on the object, you have the link between the other objects. You can write on this on the diagram. You can change color of elements. You can make them bigger, make them small. Then you can save the object and export them in SVG. So you can put that schema in another presentation in your documentation. And when you save your this schema, if you open it 6 months later, you have to make change in your cartography, then you can update it automatically. The object that has disappear from the schema. Object that have changed, the name change, the icon change, and everything is automatically up to date. What is interesting when you make a cartography is to have reports. First report, you have the information system report. It's a Word document with everything. You have a content table with all type of objects, and then you can click and you go to the object. In the object, you have a link within other object, and so on. You can navigate in this Word document. You have a list of all the supported entities with applications. So what entity support what application, what kind of application is it, or maybe user is it critical of that, what is the RTO, the RPO of the application. You have your application by application groups, all your applications, where are they installed, what database do you use, what kind of information are they managing. You have all your logical server by applications and responsible. You have the analysis of your security requirements, the logical server with your configuration, the physical server infrastructure. We have made a link with GDPR. You have the register for processing and the list of processing operation, application, and database. And an audit part where you have your maturity level and track change, a schema, a table when you can view what has changed during the last 12 months. This is information report. You can see table of content with all your elements, the schema, and you can browse this document. In the hospital, this report is 6,000 pages. Here you have your physical inventory, your site, your buildings, the base, the assets, type, description of all your elements. Here it is the analysis of security requirements. So this denormalize the link between process, macro process, application database information, and analyze the difference in requirement between each object to identify where probably we have not correctly placed the security requirements. The update of the cartographies, you have in the audit part, you can see what are updated, what has been changed, and you can detect that probably some parts are not correctly or have been correctly changed. And to demonstrate that the map is regularly updated. Mercator help with implementing ISO 27001 with a lot of controls. Mercator can help you from change management, sizing, managing vulnerability, network partitioning. It helps you in a lot of this domain. There is a link between Mercator and CVE Search. CVE Search is a tool from the Luxembourg CERT. Every day, all vulnerability is put in a portal, and we get all these vulnerabilities, and then Mercator check if there is an application that match one of these vulnerabilities, and then we send you an email. It manages certificate expiration. Yes, if you don't have the tools already, then it can send you emails to notify that a certificate is about to expire. There is no import and export of data with spreadsheets. You can take a table, export the table in a CSV, change data in the table, and then upload the table again to insert new rows or to read old rows. The application is open source. It's available on GitHub under GPLv3. We have users at university, hospital, laboratories, banks, and administration. We have 23 contributors at the moment. And on the roadmap, we have a link with Monarch. Monarch is a risk analysis tool. The idea is that based on what you have in your cartography, you can select some object and start generating a risk analysis in Monarch. That's all. Thank you.
I am Simon Descarpentries. I make web things since more than 20 years. I started small with plain static thing websites, and it became my studies and then my job as the manager of Acero company, a small free web services company. And one of the things I made is Meta-Press. What can it be? It's just only simply a search engine. But a search engine searching only through online press. Because it's easy to do. Every newspaper have an internal search for their own content. And my idea was to stitch all those indexes together in one click to rule them all and to query them all. The other main goal of the project was to make a decentralized search engine because all the other model is a single point of failure, a single place for censorship. And the idea was to find a new way of making this service, how computers, how internet can provide decentralized search engine. And it ended up being Meta-Press. That's why Meta-Press is running in your web browser, running on your computer. It's an add-on of Firefox. The way it works is very simple. I don't ask permission for anyone. The extension queries your source, like the New York Times or Le Monde, Libé, 1,000 online newspapers, and they politely answers with the results on a web page for human. And all the magic of Meta-Press is here. We analyze the page and get the information out of it to present them to the user. It's called web scraping. That's it. Just grab the information where it is and present it to the user in a good way. It works for the press, the online press, because we are in un marché de niche. We are in a corner somewhere where the pertinence of the interest of the results is bared by the date. It's called news, and it's what is new that you want to see first, so we can stop at a chronological order for things. And this is what computers do the best. Even your cell phone can order thousands of results in chronological order. That's what, in fact, in French, it's called ordinateur. It's the machine to put things in chronological order. Here are some examples of use cases. For instance, you are a regular user, you heard about an event nearby in the city and you want to have some information about it to know if it was the first time, how it went, what happened. You can put the name of your event in the search engine, you press the button and you will have all the local press speaking about since years, and it shows up on your screen. But it works also for big events, like war in Ukraine. You will have information, and it looks like something reasonable to ask for newspapers about those subjects. Something like a journalist work with controlled information, maybe a bit of analysis. Asking for who knows is, I think, the best way to search on the internet, and that's what Meta-Press does. But also, I made the tool because I was doing the press review of La Quadrature du Net, for instance, and it's a big association, and we were telling all day long that the dominant position of Google over the internet was a problem. And then bravely on the evening, I was getting my email from Google Actuality, Google News, to know which were the newspapers relaying our positions. That was this cognitive dissonance. And I passed a few years crying because there were no free software alternatives. And after a few years, a light did start in my brain with the memories of my MBA lessons, that if I was complaining because of a missing tool, it was in fact an empty place I discovered that could be filled. And I decided to dedicate my life to it. And that's how Meta-Press appears. It's the perfect tool to make the press review of a big association. That's the tool I would have dreamed to have to spare me hours in the task of searching for news and copy-pasting everything in our web hosted press review. But it's not all. For instance, when I released for the first time the tool, the first real world user reaching me back was asking to do something with my tool that I did not imagine first. It's the magic of the free software. And it was a researcher, wanting to query many scientific press editors' search engine in one click to monitor his research field. I'm not. I am so proud to tell you that it was possible to integrate his usage in Meta-Press without changing one line of code. We just added the new sources, and it's bearing the information about the sources to tell it's a new category of source. And here we had a new scientific press category of sources you can reach via Meta-Press. And now it's a category with more than 50 sources, scientific sources. So here are the real examples. And like this scientific press, I also integrated agendas online to discover events, a bit like Mobilisons, but I'm querying others in addition to Mobilisons, the tool made by Framasoft to announce events online. And now we have also something like 50 instances of agendas, including the 30 instances of Demosphere, which are militant agendas online. And the tool have been replicated 30 times, but they do not have centralized research, a single way to query all the instances. This was before Meta-Press, because now it's possible. And the last story I tell you is all those beloved Wikipedia pages about free softwares, which are disappearing the one after the others because of a lack of sources and because of this damn flag on the page to say there is not enough sources, it's not an encyclopedic subject. And if you want to save free software pages, you can use Meta-Press and find real centered sources with 2 years between them. And this is what keeps Wikipedia page alive against the exterminators. So what allows Meta-Press is discover millions of results within 3 seconds, around 20, it's not instant, but Meta-Press do not fetch millions of results, but discovers them and tells you which source announces how many results. And you will see that the New York Times has millions of results if you search about Europe. Maybe because they love us, but it's easy to read the million starting from this case, but 1,000 sources. And you have this information to allow you to go deeper in the sources telling they have results for you. Then the tool is grabbing the last one in the web page, the first web page of results, and you end up with thousands of results in your web browser to work on. Then with all those results, you can perform a sub-search on it. If you want to cross some criteria, you can split them in some date range. You can export them, re-import them. You're free to do everything you want, as long as it was it were fetched on your computer by Meta-Press. And then if a search gives good results and you like it, you can click on a button and say, okay, repeat this tomorrow at the same hour. And it will pop up a tab on your browser, do the search, and change the color of the icon, highlighting the new results from one time to another if you scheduled the search. That's perfect to make press reviews on a daily basis, but how it works? So as I said, it spares you the work to query by yourself all the newspapers one by one. It saves your mouse button because one click and it's okay. But also it protects your private life because there are no third party. There is no Meta-Press servers. The request is going from your computer directly to the newspapers. The results are back, and no Meta-Press server can never record what you search for. It's the privacy of your home. While, for instance, Google keep it forever and you can't do anything about, and you search something dumb, you were drunk, it's no matter for them. They know who you were, where you were, what you searched. There's no tracker activated using Meta-Press. One problem with the online press is that a lot of newspapers are serving approximative sided content or advertisements or in between. And for that, they track all your habits to know what you read and when and how many long, and if you get back to the article and where you clicked to go out, everything to make a profile about you, the size of your screen, what kind of computer are you using, the version number of your web browser, everything they can to make a profile about you. Profiles that are proved to be more accurate about your life than you know yourself. And those information are sold at each click on each page for the advertiser that will pay them more. And that's how you have advertisements dedicated for you. Exactly like in a Gmail address, you search for something, a friend send you an email with information about kitchens, and oh, you have advertisement to buy new equipped kitchens. They just read your mails, your private mails, to insert advertisement. And oh, it's okay, it's machine that do this, but they have the right to do this. They have the, like Mercator says, they have the capability and they have the right to do this. They do this. With Meta-Press, trackers are not activated. We just download the HTML, the crude page, web page, with no images, no CSS, nothing around. It's not many megabytes of content. It's just many kilobytes of the architecture of the page. We don't need the rest. Another advantage of Meta-Press is that if you do twice the same search, you will have twice the same results in the same order. And we can tell the same about Google. You change your computer to search something with the phone of a friend, and you will have something completely different because of the Google bubble, their customization of results for you, just for you with your profile. Well, the tool is mature. You can do a lot of things with it. You can know in which source you searched. you can select in which source it should be searched. And even we are working on source creation. For the moment, it's open for everyone with a computer science degree. Let's see, it's an extension of Firefox. So you have to go in Firefox add-ons, search for Meta-Press. It's the first link. You click in the big blue button in the middle, add to Firefox, and you will have a new icon on your web browser. And if you click on the icon, you have the content of the first image you had, the search engine itself. It's like a website, but a website hosted by your web browser. Okay, the tools have some limits. We have to work 1 hour on each source to create a new source and to instruct Meta-Press how to extract the results from this new source. If we don't have the dates on the search page of the source, we can't process them. It's the case for France TV Info, for instance, one big French source. There are no dates on results. It's hard to believe, but the search is long. It takes seconds. The more the sources, the longer it will be, and it's not instant. It's not feeling instant like other centralized web search search engines. But we are working on this, and it should be something like 3 times faster for the next version, because I'm working on multitasking and parallelization of the requests. It should be great, but it won't be under 2 seconds. It will be logarithmic. 2,000 sources won't be twice as 1,000 sources, but it won't be instant. As I said, it's a web extension. And for instance, my dear mother, she knows how to install an application on Android, because the choice was not so easy to make when you first start your Android phone. You have to create an account on Google. It's not 100% mandatory, but my mother, she did not see the button to escape this. But she has absolutely no idea how to install a web extension on a web browser. Added to that the fact that Firefox is less than 10% of the web browsers, while Android is 80% of the worldwide smartphone users. You end up with the fact that for the moment it's a limit of Meta-Press not being an Android app, but we are working on it thanks to NGI. There's no email notification. Remember, I was so happy to get my email notification for the press review when I was helping La Quadrature du Net. And this, your web browser, as my current state of knowledge, can't send emails. That's it. And another thing that people often complain about is the fact that they would like to go deeper in the results of one source and to be able to have the archives of this source, while the current implementation of Meta-Press is only able to grab the results of the first page search of the search of this source. Typically, it's 10 to 20 results by source. And regarding the war in Ukraine, when it was a hot subject, you had more than 1 page of results by day. Okay, some project statistics. I had some people working on it. Friends are also interns, like she is. It's a live project. I dedicate a lot of time for it. For the moment, it's not still widely spread, but I hope this kind of events can help to make this tool discovered. If you have a journalist friend, tell him about. If you have a documentalist friend, tell him about. Maybe it's a tool also for you. And that's, I think, what the tool is missing after so many years of work and battle-proofed code, and already 1,000 sources. It was a small thing at the beginning, and now it's a big baby with a complicated architecture, but still maintainable dry code. That's it. The tool, the main point is, compared to Google News, is it interesting? There are some objective, some neutral arguments that make Meta-Press interesting. For instance, Google Google News in France is limited to 5,000 sources. And with Meta-Press, we already have more than 5,000 sources for French press. So you are searching in more sources if you are using Meta-Press. And as I said, you know which sources were searched and which were not. While with Google, you should just believe they searched everywhere and go with it. And you know it's not true. Also, Google announced that they were not filtering out artificial intelligence generated contents. They said it was not their problem. And in fact, it's also because they can't filter it out on a technical base. While with Meta-Press, you don't have those kind of fake AI generated news because all the sources were validated by humans. It was a lot of work, but the 1,000 sources are true ones, which have been studied by real humans and recognized. This is something Google can't afford. It protects your privacy. I said how in a previous slide, and also it works well with the Tor browser. One word about the Tor browser. It exactly have been made to read the press online. Your parents, when they were reading the press, they were buying some sheets of paper with ink on it, getting back to their house and reading it in a comfortable sofa with no one knowing what was read and when, and if the newspaper finally lighted a fire or not. And we still live in a world where you might believe reading the news is as private as it was, but it's not. I explained that the newspapers are recording your activity. What the Tor browser is allowing you is this, reading the news anonymously again. And anonymously is not a problem with the law. It's the way it should be. It's the way your parents were reading the press. With the Tor browser, you change your email, your parameters, IP address and profile and everything at each tab. So you can accept all the cookies. You don't care. You close the tab. There's no more cookies. But it's more sharp than this. And it's the tool you should adopt to read the press online, or to search for something you don't know what you will find, or to be free. Again, well, to compare with Google, Google News is only available in 22 countries, while there are already sources from 75 countries integrated in Meta-Press. To be true, there are 5 well countries and all the rest with 1 or 2 sources, but it's already an example of the possibility the tool offers. Then it's hard to censor because it's your computer that produces the service. No one can get it back from you. And about an important subject, if you are querying 1,000 sources, there should be at least one that answers. Thanks for your attention and download Meta-Press today.